Hello, viewers, everyone. This is Zainuri from APO Secretariat. Welcome to the APO Productivity Talk. Today, we are going to discuss another topic, interesting topic about productivity, of course, but we are focusing on what is the role of the leadership in transforming the organizations toward digitizations. So, with us today, we are very, very fortunate to have Mr. Siris Polam Raju, the Associate Consultant of NPC India, who will share with us what his insights, his thoughts, his opinions, his experience, as well as his expertise in this topic. So, good morning, Mr. Siri. You are broadcasting live from Hyderabad, right? Mr. Siri, how are you today, Mr. Siri?
Good afternoon, Zainuri. How are you? I am, yes, from Hyderabad, which is in the southern part of India. So I just want to give a word of caution. When you address me as Siri, just ensure that your phone does not respond. The last thing that I want is my session be hijacked by a telephone. Yes. Jokes apart, yeah, I'm Sirish Kumar Polam Raju. I have about
Okay.
2.5 decades of IT career in multiple disciplines. Predominantly, I worked in the role of a delivery manager, and I belong to India. It is an emerging hub for global IT industry. I thank you for making me a part of your productivity talk initiatives. I've listened to these sessions. They are really thought-provoking and informative, most of them. So I thank you once again. And I am currently an empaneled consultant with the National Productivity Council, which comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry, Government of India. So as a consultant, I have conducted a lot of workshops for government and public sector enterprise officials on various topics related to e-governance, digital transformation leadership, digital organization culture, technology landscape, change management, and several other topics like cybersecurity, blockchain, AI, and ML. So I should also thank National Productivity Council for introducing me to APO.
Thank you very much, Siri.
So that's a brief introduction about myself. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Siri. I will still continue addressing you as Siri. No worries about my phone.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
I like
So,
it. Yeah.
all right. Before we start the presentation, your presentation, maybe we would like to have a few one questions. It's a burning questions before we start the session today. You're talking about the definitions of digital transformations. So for me, the DT has two aspects here. One aspect is integration of modern digital tools and techniques on ongoing business, and the second aspect is a new business model creation. So if we see these two aspects of DT, SME, or either larger organizations in a point of view, it seems that this definition is varying from organization to another organizations. So some things, some people thinks, and some organization thinks that when they put IT things on the cloud, it's already DT. And some said you need to introduce RPA, AI, ML, DL, VR, AR, robotic, etc. Then it's become DT. So in your opinion, is there any ideal definition of DT? Or do we really need ideal definitions? Or organization can define by themselves what is the definition of DT? So what is your thought about this, Siri?
See, there are, Zainuri, several definitions for digital transformation. Some people think that technology is the crux of digital transformation. So there are other set of people that who think that it is a leadership mindset to bring about phenomenal transformations in the organization, so as to prepare them for the future. So at this juncture, if I have your permission, some of the narrations that I am going to give are going to be a little lengthy sometimes and very short. But I want to narrate a short story. If I have your permission, it might take about 2 to 3 minutes, but
please,
it will summarize the sum and essence of digital transformation leadership. So thank you for the permission. See here, there was in ancient times there was a king and he was really worried about the strained relationships that he has with his neighboring countries. So he was having a conversation about this aspect, how to put an end to this malady with his prime minister. And at that time, the commander in chief, the general of the army, barges in very furiously, and he says that he served his entire life with a lot of courage to protect the nation, and he deserves to be the prime minister, not the old man who is just a bag of bones. So this was a major challenge now to resolve the conflict for the king. So he was in a pensive mood, walks up to the window, and at a very far off distance on a highway outside the fort walls, he sees a traveler with a bullock cart resting under the tree. So then he says to both the army general and the prime minister that he will put them through a test. So the test is as follows. He says that he wants them to go and find out where the traveler is going to. So the general thinks that it is a test of speed. So he immediately jumps out of the window onto his horse. Don't ask me whether the horse died or whether he got injured. And at a lightning speed, he heads out of the fort walls and to the distant highway. He has a small chat with the guy resting under the tree, comes back, and he tells the king that the traveler is going to a village which is about 50 kilometers from here. At the same time, the old prime minister, he takes his own time to go down the stairs, get onto the horse with assistance, and he takes his sweet own time and returns back before the cows return home. And then he gives his findings to the king. He says that the traveler is actually a trader. He's manufactured some goods in certain village, and he is going to a particular village to find buyers for his merchandise. And he also gives details of what is his cost of manufacturing, how much time he takes to travel from his village to the destination and back, and what is his logistics cost and what is the market potential. And then he also says that he had negotiated a better price, which is more competitive, so that he can sell the commodities in their own kingdom. So this is going to cut down his logistic cost and also the time for delivering the merchandise, and gives him a better margin. So therefore, the traveler agreed. So then the king turns at the general and he says, running the state of affairs is a different mindset. It is not the agility that you have physically, it is a cerebral thing. So then the general understands. So the story does not end here. My father taught me about how informed you should be in making decisions. That's all about wisdom. But I have just given an extension to this. The king immediately summons the cabinet and he says, why not set up a highway market space so that other traders can also sell their goods there, and those goods can have good demand in their own kingdom, and set up the warehouses. So then he asked the prime minister to find out what is the demand for each commodity in the country. Then at that time, the prime minister asked one question, which is a naive question. He says, what do we do with excess stock? So then the king summons the general and he says, look, you send your spies to the neighboring countries to find out if there is any demand for these goods, and see if you can forge trade relationships. So this is going to settle all our problems as far as relationships with neighboring countries are. So the general gets a little furious and he says, all my life I have been trained to be a warrior. Now you are asking me to forge business relationship. Then the king says, look, wars cannot go on for a long. The civilization has to change. So to unlearn what you are and then pick up a new skill. So here, this is an example of a modern day leader who leads large scale digital transformation initiatives. Here is a leader who believes in information, who is innovative, and is also inspiring his people. Well, while it is also a mindset, the technology component cannot be ignored as far as digital culture is concerned. Humans have got their own limitations to perform tasks faster, accurately, and in large volumes when you talk about economy of scale. So therefore, you need machines to supplement and complement human effort,
Yeah.
and also
So,
help
okay.
them to, yeah, sorry.
Siri. So the point here is we are talking about the mindset of the leaders, right? When
Yes.
you talk about the digital transformation, DT itself, we talk about the role of the leadership. We talk about how the mindsets of the leaders should change in order to for
Yes.
them to embrace this digitization. So I think that is going to be a good opening for us to continue with your presentation later, your discussions about this topic. So, but before that, let me make short information that for all the viewers out there, if you have any comments or any questions for this topic, please you can write in the live chat. Please mention your full name if possible, or your nickname, if whatever names that you want me to address in this live session, together what countries you are coming from. Then I can mention it when I ask the questions to Siri. So, Siri, without further ado, let's start with your presentation today. Please, the floor is
Yeah.
yours.
Thank you, Zainuri. When you ask your viewers to add their nickname, I just want to inform that Siri is already taken. I have the copyrights for that. Okay. So,
Thank you.
yeah, so here is the definition that I have for digital transformation, which we have already discussed. The world is embracing the new era. Everything is embarking on digital platforms. So, uh, going forward, I just want to ask one question: that how many people can imagine a society without digital technologies? So, it is impossible for millennials, but for older generations, perhaps they have already seen phenomenal transitions in the society. Today, we see that our society is flooded with a lot of apps and gadgets, and we are totally dependent on these technological innovations. And they are all indispensable. They are essential part of our life. So, and the number of advancements that are happening on digital technology are accelerating on day by day basis. So this reminds me of an essay written by Alvin Toffler. Normally, in most of my workshops and speeches, I mention this guy because he was a kind of an imaginary. Way back in 1970s, he wrote an essay called Future Shock. This talks about the rapid changes in happening in society and how human civilization would react to such drastic changes. So at that point of time, all these modern technologies were non-existent. He was somehow able to imagine what would be the civilization like when that really happens, and he calls that state of society as future shock. Now, I would say that future shock is happening now. Also, I also want to talk about another essay written by E.M. Forrester that was in 1905. So those were the days when even the television was not existing. So he wrote an essay called The Machine Stock. This is, you will be amazed that the author has visualized social networks, connected world, intelligent machines controlling human functions, and other innovations that we are actually experiencing today. So the story is narrated in the backdrop of an apocalypse-like situation brought about by war, where weapons of mass destruction are used, and the entire civilization seemed to have been annihilated. So at that point, when he was writing this essay, all these technologies were not even existing in a blueprint stage. So these are the people who have really visualized what is going to happen in the future, and future has arrived today. Now, Telegram, the word Telegram for the older generation, it's a postal service, but for the youngsters, it is a social networking app, and the youngsters have not listened to the clicks and taps of a mechanical typewriter. Similarly, if you talk about certain businesses, they have virtually vanished out of the face of the world. Most of the digital transformation sessions, people take the example of Kodak. Kodak is an industry which went obsolete because the digital cameras have really given a death blow to this particular industry. So on and so forth. If you see today, Uberization is a concept that totally disrupted the transport industry. Today, we are not reading magazines in paper format; we are reading them in digital format only. And e-commerce is one revolution that helps us do have our shopping experiences in the cozy comforts of our home. Mostly, this e-commerce potential has been realized during this pandemic times. Pandemic really jolted us out of our slumber. So the way the world reacted to the pandemic is phenomenal. So we are able to bounce back, but of course there were some collateral damages. And thanks to the technological advancements that are happening. So having said that, today I want to talk about what is it that I'm going to talk about in my session. In this session, I would like to share my thoughts, experiences, and knowledge that I acquired about the complexities, the challenges, solutions, options associated with digital transformation. Normally, I was conducting these sessions on digital transformation topic with the National Productivity Council and each of these workshops used to consume almost 4 full days of lecture. But I will try to encapsulate some of these knowledge areas into this 1 hour session. And of course, I'll be very happy to answer the questions that the viewers pose to me. Right. So in this 1 hour session, we will be able to explore the current situation, understand the outlook of tomorrow's digital world, and discuss about some nice use cases. So I have certain good examples that we can discuss as far as digital transformation is concerned, and cover on certain strategic frameworks that are required for organization to take up their digital transformation initiatives. So now the challenge for me is to squeeze a vast subject into a short time-bound session. So let me go to the most important point of my session, which is the impact of COVID-19 globally. So I have a graph here, which I pulled out from Gartner. See, Gartner has performed certain studies to understand how IT spends have changed in the last 3 years. So if you look at these graphs, there is a significant change, or you can say, I don't say significant, there is a marginal drop in the IT spends in 2020. See, the overall IT spends in 2019 were about 3.81 trillion, and during 2022 it has come down to 3.6. So that means there is a drop of almost 5.4% on the total IT spends. Then the projected IT spends for the coming year, which is 2021 and 2022, is about 3.75 trillion. So that means in 2021 and 2022, we are barely reaching the levels of 2019. So it as if appears that 2020 was on a pause button, but the potential to bounce back is really there. So I have some good news also in the coming slides. So overall, I just wanted to show you, demonstrate you what is the impact of COVID-19 on global IT industry. Now, different industries have got different, impact levels, and also their bounce back or the recovery time is going to vary from industry to industry. So here I have pulled up some industries and given my assessment about the severity of impact COVID-19 has on each of these industries and what is going to be their prognosis, how fast they are going to recover. So I have divided the impact into high, moderate, and severe. Of course, we don't have a low impact category here, obvious reasons. There are no industries that had a low impact. Almost all industries were having a serious damage, right? And then we'll have to correlate it with the recovery time also. I've also given in this slide what are the factors that have caused the disruptions for each of these industries. Having said that, I would say that I can categorize the disruptions that happened during the COVID-19 the period is into 3 categories: the supply chain category, the customer behavior category, and regulatory changes. So what I exactly mean? So industries got affected due to supply chain because there was no labor force during the lockdown. There was no workforce to ship cargo from one place to another place. So that's the supply chain impact. Then what I mean by consumer behavior. So there are a lot of people who have lost jobs and they have become very conservative in their expenditures. Most of the people, most of the citizens. So this is one category where they really do not want to spend on items which are not of essential category. Then there are also other category who have probably not lost job, but they wanted to save money for a rainy day. So the expenditure pattern of from the customers has taken a different shape. So this is one disruption. And the third category of disruption is the regulatory changes. For example, most of the governments have imposed travel bans, and there was lockdown imposed in most of the countries. So these are all the regulatory mandates that have got an impact on the industry. Say, for example, in the healthcare industry, especially in India, the telemedicine was not an acceptable mode of giving treatments. So they made some regulatory changes to ensure that telemedicine is allowed. So these are the factors that have had different levels of impact on different industries, and different industries for various reasons are going to have different recovery cycles. But having said that, I would say that MSME sector is the worst hit. So this is going to take a lot of time. And again, in MSME sector, it depends from product to product. So that is a very deeper assessment. We are not going into it, but MSME has certainly taken a deeper blow, a major blow. And I would like to discuss almost at the end of the session how our country, India, has reacted to this particular eventuality. Now, one thing, if you look at this, we talked about 2020 and 2021. Here, I just want to give a small example. This is about a project that I worked maybe 2 or 3 years back. This is a large manufacturing company. And this company had offices in almost 33 countries spread across multiple time zones. And they were using many applications across all their offices. So so this was the situation. Now, the problem was that they wanted to optimize their IT spend. This was a case study that we worked on way back in 2017. So what we have done is they have given statistics about their IT landscape, their infrastructure, how many applications they have, and where their applications are deployed. Is it on cloud or is it on premise? So even the desktop application details were also given. They have given us the details of users and concurrent users, the traffic, number of transactions, the load in each application. All these details were given to us. So what we have done is that we took all this data and we performed in-depth analysis, and we have given them a recommendation. This recommendation report tells them what applications can be retired, what can be replaced, what minor modifications can be done in each of these applications. Is there a possibility for consolidating multiple applications, possibility of migrating certain applications into cloud, how much of their existing on-prem servers, data center servers they can use, how many of the applications can be moved into cloud. So we have given a comprehensive report. And this report elicits that we can assure a cost savings of 7 to 8% on their annual IT spends minus our consultancy charges. So why did I narrate to you about this particular project? I want to emphasize that there is something called as risk management. So risk managers, they know that at every bend of the road, they are going to encounter surprises. Surprises can be positive or negative also. So all through human civilizations, we know wars have happened. The Spanish flu has happened. So major events that appear to be hand of God are likely to happen. So risk managers, they have their own methodology. They have their own approach to tackle such situations. So when COVID happened, so people who have invested their money or who have focused on optimizing their technology landscape and increasing the utilization of this whatever technology they have, they are able to sustain the pressure that we are encountering today. So if you look at this graph, you can see that most of the spend is on applications. Most of their spend is towards the initiatives or objectives that require organization to increase utilization of their existing technology infrastructure and also optimizing spends. Then the next priority is increasing their business or increasing their productivity and also increase their sales, their market presence. The third priority is all about enforcing or inculcating digital culture among its stakeholders, internal stakeholders, as well as the customers. So people started investing in mobile applications for customers, omni-channel sales, e-commerce applications, so on and so forth. And also there was some focus on organic and inorganic growth. So this is how they were spending, which means I'm trying to emphasize here that organizations which were very smart, for them, COVID-19 definitely is a big blow, but they have all the resilience and they are prepared to tackle such situations. So probably they will recover or bounce back fast. So here I have a small video that I wanted to show. This video is about an organization that has leveraged on technology to ensure that there is increase in their efficiency and also minimize the manual interventions. So, and how they have used different technological options. So this is an interesting video. I invite viewers to enjoy this. Zainuri, please play the DHL supply chain video.
Robots have been a boon to the supply chain, automating manual and tedious tasks and freeing employees to apply higher-level knowledge and skills to the production process. Robots are widely used at DHL, and not just in our warehouses. They're also being put to good use in our transport solutions, where they handle administrative and back-office tasks, freeing our associates to deliver even more value to our shippers. The most recent advancement is with robotic process automation, or RPA. RPA is an advanced technology that can be programmed to perform a series of defined processes to automatically handle high-volume, repeatable tasks. Think of RPA as a form of artificial intelligence, capable of automating a range of tasks. It works around the clock, accurately and rapidly processing transactions and speeding deliveries on their way. Thanks to RPA, customers with dynamic shipping requirements, like delivering materials to a work site, can expect more reliable deliveries. And customers with critical appointment scheduling needs, like retailers, can expect fewer deviations. While RPA works in the background, customers will recognize the benefits it creates, including enhanced reliability, accuracy, and consistency. Beyond building supply chain speed and accuracy, customers are relying on RPA to enable process improvement. It's elevating the role of their team members, moving them away from data entry and toward continuous improvement activities. DHL has long been on the cutting edge of innovative supply chain and transportation solutions. RPA is the latest tool that enables us to enhance our transportation solutions and think beyond today's shipment for our customers.
Thank you, sir. So I always say that if necessity is mother of invention, innovation is father of invention. So this particular data sheet that you are seeing, I pulled it up from a survey conducted by MuleSoft. MuleSoft is an organization that develops integration technologies. Uh, going to the next slide. So here, the mandate for most of the CIOs in the coming years is to not grow. So that is the focus of COVID-19 impact. So since Saituri, you mentioned about technology, so you're asking whether rich transmission is all about technologies. Yes, I answer to that. It's also technologies. So here I wanted to show you the spend pattern of 2019, again from the same survey report of MuleSoft, and how organizations were spending in terms of their technology choice. If you see, the top priority is given for security solution, and I think in 2020 and 2021 the spend for security will be much higher. Of course, we don't have the numbers here, at least I don't have. Then there is also significant investments in big data and analytics to get market insights and all. Then multi-cloud strategy will help organizations to optimize their IT spends by moving their applications into cloud and shifting from a capex mode to an opex mode, so on and so forth. Their usage of AI, ML, and IoT is also on increase for almost few years. Blockchain is a technology that has revolutionized, that is going to have a very big impact in the coming days. At least that is what most of the technologists they think. We have a use case on blockchain also in one of the slides that I have. So on and so forth. There are technologies that are invested, technologies that are required to increase the customer experience, and also bring about digital culture in the organization. So this is the spend pattern of different technologies in 2019. So I would want to, I would want to give some good news also. So what are those industries that are going to be um, seeking more investments in information technology? So look at this graph. Again, I have pulled it out. This graph, I have pulled it out estimates from the Gartner report. So it says that as on 2020, the total investments in digital transformation is about 470 billion. So in the next 5 years, it is likely to go up to 1,010 billion. So that means a growth of 16.5% CAGR. So this is the forecast that they have. So what are the industries that are going to consume these digital transformation services? I've given a list of some of the industries here. If you see in 2020 budget, the government of India has hiked the allocation for healthcare by almost 137% over 2020 allocation. So, which means this is a fantastic opportunity space for digital transformation experts. So, there's going to be a lot of business in this area. So then the next area is government. So I also have some statistics about the government initiatives on information technology globally. So they are trying to automate to that level where all services are delivered through online platforms to citizens and businesses. So this is actually happening in countries like Norway, Sweden, Ireland. I think most of their services are online. So in developing countries like India and all, this is a big market space for digital transformation. Then 5G is going to revolutionize the telecom sector. So there are going to be a lot of applications that need to be developed around 5G. There is going to be increased traffic, and data networks are going to be choked because most of us are working from home, and we are working in a virtual workspace kind of an environment. So therefore, there is likelihood of increased data traffic on the network. So this is an area where there is a lot of scope for cyber security and also scope for managing the networks. So telecom is a very lucrative area. Then learning from home, online classes, e-commerce, shopping from our home. These are areas where the applications are not just enough. So this is a very big market scope that we have. Then I just cannot ignore the banking and financial sector industry, BFSI. So if you see that India was earlier a cash-based economy, and for the last 4 or 5 years, we have inculcated the habit of digital transactions. This is happening off late. So there are a number of apps that are being developed, like payment gateways, payment wallets, and all. In the recent time, there is this organization called National Payment Corporation of India, NPCI. I'm actually a big fan of this particular organization. They have taken several initiatives for Government of India in delivering fintech solutions. Similarly, our taxation filing has been simplified by an online filing platform, electronic filing systems. So this has reduced, this has simplified the tax filing given the complexities of our taxation policies. So this is an area where there is going to be a lot of requirement of information technology solutions. And I cannot ignore the fact that cybersecurity is going to be at the top of the list again. Especially people are working from home, and then security is paramount here. So gaming and entertainment industry, this has got a scope because people started finding a lot of leisure during the lockdown. And so this is an industry which is a little lucrative for digital transformation. And there is also focus on solutions related to electronic vehicles because, of course, due to the environmental concerns people have. So we want to move more from the conventional energy to a renewable energy system. So this is a market that is going to be very, very large, and it requires a lot of solutions. Surprisingly, certain new business models like gardening on, you book your gardener online, you interact with the gardener, you consult a gardener, an expert. So these kinds of solutions are also mushrooming these days, and there are a number of such applications. I've just taken gardening as an example. Then with the social distancing and all, the legal services are also being undertaken online these days. So there is a lot of requirement for document management services, knowledge management services, online consultancies. So they need solutions for this area. But I can say on the top of the list, the virtual desktop infrastructure, VDI, is an area which is very lucrative for people who want to get into digital transformation, because people are working from home. And desktop as a service is an interesting business model that is also coming up. So this is likely to pick up pace in the coming days. So
Hi,
this is the
Siri.
outlook for
I'm sorry.
the
Siri, sorry to interrupt your presentation.
yeah.
I think you have to change to another slides
Yeah,
because
sure, yeah.
because we are still in a sector spending more on IT, so we are talking about something
Right.
else, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so I will talk about government sector here. So this is all about e-governance initiatives globally. United Nations, they conduct a survey every 2 years. This survey will identify for each country. They have about 193 member countries. They will do a survey on the level of online services that are provided by each country, human capital index, and also the telecom infrastructure index. So they do some computation and arrive at ranking for each and every country. So this determines the maturity in terms of e-governance for each country. So this is the report I pulled up from United Nations website. You can see that most of the countries, and they rank these countries into four buckets. They rank them in terms of maturity levels as far as e-governance is concerned. The four buckets are low, high, low, moderate, high, and very high. If you see that most of the countries are only upgrading from a lower rank to the upper rank, except for Monaco and Lebanon, which have got downgraded. So what I wanted to emphasize here is that the global initiatives for e-commerce is also a major focus area. So these are the global trends that I can talk of currently, and also post-COVID era. So here, when you see that most of the organization and governments, they are embarking on to the digital culture. So we need to see that there are almost 70% projects that fail. 70% digital transformation initiatives fail as far as Gartner is concerned. And some other report says that it is 84%. So some report says it's 92%, but we can say there is a significant failure rate as far as digital transformation is concerned. Now, what are the causative factors for failures? So we should understand, I put them into 5 buckets. That the problem with digital transformation initiatives are that people do not identify if there are solid needs for which they have to implement IT solutions. They don't know the shape and structure of the problem that they are going to solve. They are not able to figure out measurable outcomes for the solutions that they give. They don't perform proper feasibility study. So, and the another problem is some organizations, like they just don't want to go in small steps. They want to change everything at once. So the scoping is one problem. The other problem is the time, which is more concerned with the efficiency aspects of the project management department. They don't estimate how much how much is the time required for each project that they take up. And sometimes the senior management, they give aggressive timelines. So the project teams, they will not be able to meet the expectations of the senior management. Then organizations are not able to figure out their budgets. So most of the smart organizations, they have budgets allocated for the next 5 years or 10 years for their IT initiatives. So those are the people who will be judiciously using the funds towards building new systems, IT systems. Then organizations do not have clarity
Hi.
on.
Sorry, Siri. Thank you. May I interrupt the presentation? Siri.
Yeah,
Hello, Siri. Yeah,
yeah,
can you hear me? Okay. Thank you very much. You are sharing
yes.
about the international, the global, also the challenges of this digital transformation. Maybe now we have to focus on our main topic today, which is the leadership. What will be the role of the leaders here? How the mindset that we want to for the leaders to embark on this
Yeah.
digital transformation. Yeah, that is our main focus. That I think audience would like to know what is that's the main gist of our session today.
I know. So we have, I'll just proceed on this slide. So
Yeah.
all said and done, it's the question of efficiency and an organization culture. These are the causative factors for contribute to the failures of digital transformation initiatives. So having said that, let us look about the leadership mindset and how people need to go about. So here, I will give an example. Uh, there is Amazon, which is our most popular e-commerce application. Do you see that off late Amazon has also started providing payment solutions? Similarly, there are food delivery apps, online food delivery apps. They are also providing services for local cargo supply chain, local cargo delivery at some cost. So this means that some industries, they are not only aware of the market potential within their own business model, but they are also trying to explore the business models or options or possibilities where they can expand. So this is one mindset that every industry should have. So they should have knowledge about one's own industry, respect the customer and the customer's expectation. And they also need to have an eye on new possibilities and areas to expand business. So this is one way of dealing with disruptions. So this is a kind of a leadership mindset that we'll have to inculcate first and foremost. Then there are certain wonderful examples like if you see that Uber is a business which does not own any cars, and Zomato, which is an Indian app, it does not have any restaurants, but it takes care of food distributions. Similarly, Oyo Rooms is an Indian service provider. They don't have hotels, but they have contracts with several people who have accommodation, and they give it on rent for tourists and all. And the biggest example is Facebook does not own the content. The content belongs to us, and they are the major content management site today. So these are certain wonderful examples of how people are dealing with disruption. So here I have an example that where technology can be used in areas where people could not imagine. So this is a dairy farm in India. So they have used technology to enhance their productivity and also get visibility on business dynamics. So I request Zainuri to play this video about the dairy farm.
India is the largest producer of the milk, and per animal we are one of the lowest in the world. I grown up on the farms, and breeding of the cows was part of our business. We started in a very humble way. My grandfather started this business. My dad first introduced computers in 1984. As we grow on the farm, we could see that changes he brought as really helping us. So innovation was the key for a survival. Computer innovation has really helped us to build a good enterprise. Once we adopted VMware as a technology, we could have per server yield from 1 which has gone to 40. So that really has helped us, because without that scalability, I don't think that we were able to do what we have done today. Whole idea of using cloud computing is to really scale the compute power what we have to a larger extent to our farmers. So the concept of cows to cloud born, where all information of every cow is available on our cloud, which can be accessed through web to our farmers. We have complete management of cows is done by computers. It has really transformed from a manual process to a complete computerized system. Part of our cows to cloud offering, we are offering services like artificial insemination service, health services, complete blood profiling systems. We take care of all aspect of health in our systems. So that is really helping to increase the productivity per animal. And all that information is shared through SMSs every day to our farmers from our cows to cloud system. All that data of all these IOs is stored into virtualized platforms and disseminated to all users throughout the factory. With this initiative of cows to cloud, we are able to cut down 10 times the population of animals. A dependency of the land will be greatly reduced. Whole community is a stronger community, and it will help us to produce greener India.
Yeah, thank you for the video, Zainuri. So here, I'll talk about the leadership mandate. So one essential concept that leadership should have in mind is that running an organization is not just about productivity; it is also about sustainability. So when we talk about productivity, earlier conventional managers were thinking about measuring inputs versus outputs, like the capital or labor, energy, material, and service requirements for a unit of finished product. So these were the ratios that we were thinking about. But beyond that, there is a risk of disruption. In a recent survey, people have said about 70% of CEOs have said that they have experienced disruptions in the last 10 years, and more disruptions are likely to happen. So therefore, sustainability should be on the top of their objectives. So for sustainability measures, they need to innovate. They need to acquire systems that give them deeper market insights. They also give, they have complete knowledge about emerging technology landscape, and they also need to have skills to undertake change management in the organization. So these are the essentials of essential skills that a leadership should be having. So basically, we say that digital transformation has got four pillars. It is a specialization that takes along people, process, technology, and the organization culture. So when we talk about productivity, it cannot be ignored. The first and foremost thing is that you need to optimize the usage of the existing systems, right? So organizations, they need to perform business process reengineering and also selective process automation to increase their efficiency and effectiveness. So what I would want to show is a very small example on how business process reengineering can be taken up. So here is a case study. There is a department which undertakes household surveys on the health data. So basically, health data is collected on paper, and these data sheets are brought to the nodal office, and where the data is keyed in into the system. And this information is verified, sanitized, and then it is sent to the apex body. The apex body will decide, or the ministry will decide, what will be the fund allocations for each village or each zone based on the data that they have received. So here, the major problem that people were encountering was that they are using a lot of paper, there are a lot of manual records. And when the data is being keyed in, there is a margin of error. Then sometimes the errors are happening not inadvertently, but intentionally, or also they are happening. So the decisions that are taken at the apex level, probably they are taken on wrong data. So this was the concern that was discussed with our team. So any technologist would say that what the better solution to handle such a situation is have optical character reading at nodal office, so that the data sheets are scanned and the data is digitized. But there is a better solution that can be given. Business process reengineering principles say that you have to subsume the data at the process itself. You cannot move it to downstream. So what we have suggested is, instead of data sheets, why don't they have an app on their mobile device? And when they are collecting the information at the source, they are keying in the data in the mobile device, and it is transmitted in real time to the apex body. So somebody says, will that be, is it a cost-effective solution? Of course, it is cost-effective, because you have eliminated the nodal office there. You have eliminated the number of approval levels that you have. So you have reduced the manpower, and it is a much faster and effective way of doing things. So such are some of the initiatives that you can take, or such certain innovations that you can take to optimize your operations. So I have some more examples to discuss here. In India, we have this passport service center. It is in Indian language, we call it as Passport Seva Kendra, right? So the problem with this passport issue is that from the date of application to the date we received the passport, the average time was almost 45 days or sometimes 3 months. Why was it happening so? That the process was such that when the application is submitted at the passport office will forward the application to the regional police department. The police department will come to the the applicant's house and verify, does a background check, and sends a report back to the passport office. Only then the passport used to get issued. So there is such a long time for all this verification activity. So here, what government of India understood was that the number of defaulters after police verification are very, very, very small margin. So for a small margin of people, the greater population is has to wait for such a long time for passport issue. So what they have done is they just changed the process steps. What they did is, once the application is submitted, in 2 or 3 days time, the passport is issued to the candidate, and then the police verification happens. In case the police verification results in any default or any exceptional observation, then the passport of such candidates will be impounded. So this way, they have reduced the average time of passport issue from 45 days to 7 days. Then another example that we worked on is for a cargo company. So cargo arrives in the hangars through aircrafts, and the problem is that they have to key in the cargo data into their ERP systems so that they will be able to track and perform further transactions. So one solution we have given is that they use a barcode scanner. So each cargo container or carton will have a QR code, and the barcode scanner will scan the details of the cargo, the shipper, consignee, and all the information, and it transmits the data over the local area network or Bluetooth to the server in the office. So the next level of innovation that we have given is that instead of barcode scanner, we have given a mobile device. So the app scans the barcode and transmits the data through GSM. So this has reduced their cost and also increased their time of recording the cargo data. The other wonderful example is that in India, there are hinterlands, there are tribal areas where doctors cannot reach. So this is done as a proof of concept in one tribal area. They have set up an electronic clinic there. So the clinic is unmanned. So it has basically a kiosk, and when a patient walks into this clinic, his BP, temperature, and oxygen levels, oxygen saturation is checked by these electronic devices, and then it is relayed to the doctor, who is remotely placed in an urban area. The doctor interacts over the video conference with the patient, and then he writes a prescription. And the beauty of the system is that based on the prescription, medicines will be dispatched by a vending machine which is placed in the kiosk. So these are certain wonderful innovations that I just wanted to discuss with you. Now, we talked about blockchain. So as a use case, I will be very happy to discuss this particular initiative that Government of India has taken, again as a POC. They have used blockchain. So in India, about 60% of the people are in the farmer industry, agriculture industry, and they depend on certain subsidies. So what happens is they need oils, they need seeds, they need fertilizers, and when they purchase them, the government subsidizes these purchases. So the manufacturer, he manufactures fertilizers, for instance, and it goes to the warehouse, and from warehouse a quality check is done by certified agencies, and then it will reach the retailer where the farmers buy at a subsidized rate. So these invoices will be sent back to the manufacturer, and the manufacturer has to claim these subsidies, the difference in the price in the versus the cost. He has to claim it from the Government of India, from the Finance Department. So these invoices are submitted to the Finance Department and also the Agriculture Department. Lot of reconciliation is performed, and then the amount that is due to the manufacturer is transferred to the manufacturer. So this was the process. So this process required a lot of paper transactions, and the manufacturers required almost 2 to 3 months for fulfillment of their bills. So what Government of India had done is they have installed blockchain solution. All these trading partners, the manufacturer, warehouse, and retailer, they're all connected over the blockchain platform. So whenever a transaction happens at any level, it is relayed to all the parties in the network, all the participants in the network. So this way there is a visibility of how many transactions are happening and how much is the subsidy that is due to the manufacturer, and almost the settlements were instantaneous. The another advantage is the chartered accountants who are doing the reconciliation, they are no more required in this particular pattern of solution. So this is one example that I wanted to discuss. So when we talk about digital transformations, I've talked about what are the solutions, what should be a leadership mindset. We also seen the global trends. Look at certain strategies that we can employ as far as our initiatives are concerned. See, I have put all our initiatives into 4 buckets. See, what happens is, I said that we cannot go big bang. We cannot convert all services in the organization into digital platforms. You have to go step by step. But how do you prioritize this, right? So to help you prioritize your automation initiatives, I have here 4 buckets that will help you strategize it to come up with a roadmap. First and foremost, you look at solutions which are existing. You try to optimize them and also ensure that their utilization is high. see where there is a scope for reducing cost, and moving from capex to opex is a good idea. Sometimes outsourcing is also a very good option. So you are optimizing the usage and the spends on the existing technology. The second level of maturity is, second level in the roadmap is, look at solutions that will help you run your business much faster, effectively. They increase the efficiency and also build a wider customer base. So these are adding value to the organization. Then the third level is, look at solutions that will help as business enablers. They help you take care of your organization's future. So these are the solutions like omni-channel, right? Mobile apps. These are the solutions that organizations will require. And at the top level of maturity are the most sophisticated systems, which will help you define new business models. They are the systems that will disrupt the market. So this is how we'll have to proceed on our digital transformation initiatives. Then there is a challenge while you are getting onto the digital transformation culture. There are certain challenges that you face, that every day you have to take certain decisions. So there needs to be a decision making framework that will help us, or that will guide us on our initiatives, right? So basically we should be having a decision making framework that aligns IT to business. So all efforts in acquisition of IT assets should be helping business to grow and sustain in the long run, right? So here I have given a decision framework which you can use for your organization as a guideline. So at the topmost is that you need to have a set of principles. The principles essentially define the governance framework for making other key decisions, and also the standards that the organization would want to adhere to. For instance, a defense organization does not want to expose its applications to or data outside, right? Therefore, cloud is no choice for their application. So they should have it as a principle. Some companies have a highly sensitive data and also content that can be exposed to the outside world. So they would want to prefer a hybrid cloud, or they may want to have a demilitarized zone for the data center. So these are the principles that guide the decision making with regards to what kind of infrastructure you can have, what kind of architectural models that you can have, how much is the investments, and how you can plan your roadmaps, how can you prioritize your IT innovations, and also decisions pertaining to business applications. So this is one interesting framework that I wanted to discuss with you. So when we talk about prioritization, so I have also given one guideline document here. So in an organization, let us say that you have about 100 odd services that you want to automate. So how do we go about, in which order you want to go about? First is get all the services that you want to automate, perform value stream mapping, and see where there is scope for business process reengineering and optimizing your internal processes, and identify those services that need to be automated on priority. Then you need to perform certain rationalization to identify the actual priority stack. So how do you perform the rationalization? There are two ways to do that. One is you see what value a particular solution would add to the larger context and to the particular department. Then you also see what is the complexity of a particular service that you want to automate, and what is the service visibility of that particular automated solution. So you put these services into different buckets and perform a rationalization. You need to do a brainstorming, and then you will be able to identify what is your priority stack for automation. So this is one framework that probably you can use. There are multiple tools that will guide you in figuring out the roadmap for your digital transformation. Now, having said that, I just want to summarize the leadership focus, how it should be as far as digital transformation is concerned. Topmost is that every organization should have a task force that will take care of digital transformation. They are people who are experts in technology, people management, process management, and also those who can take up transformational initiatives in the organization. Then look at, once you have the IT in place, so what is the governance in the organization going to be? So look at defining and refining the organization governance in the light of the in the light of the digital culture. Then you need to look at areas where you can optimize business processes and find out where you can do automation. Then you should look at being consumer centric. So inculcate digital culture. Then the most important thing is make all decisions democratic. Empower your teams. Then don't forget to innovate every day, everywhere, and every place. This is the quotation given by Alexander Deming, right? The person who has revolutionized Toyota after the Second World War. And then you also need to plan your budgets upfront on long-term basis. You take short-term initiatives, but your vision should be on long-term. Now, what is this digital transformation or digital culture is going to give you? So basically, it will let you take up risks in your organization to explore new possibilities, come up with new business models and new products. Then it tells you that you have to take small moves, do short-term planning, but with a long-term vision. The most important thing is it makes the organization digital savvy and with high level of collaborations between the stakeholders inside the organization and also with the customers. Then when disruptions happens, so you have enough resilience to manage it. So these are certain benefits that digital culture will bring about. Now, I will wind up in a few minutes. I just wanted to talk about the initiatives Government of India is undertaking. So Government of India has come up with a scheme called Digital India a few years back. India has got about 532,000 villages approximately. So as of now, around 250,000 villages have been brought under the broadband. There are some 400,000 public internet access points in the country, and this is going to go up because there is budgetary allocation this year. Wi-Fi has been provided for 250,000 schools. Then 17 million people are being trained. There is a skill development initiatives that they are taking up, and they know that about 85 million people get indirectly benefited due to this. Then e-governance and e-service initiatives are taken up in a widespread manner. So India wants to be a leader in healthcare, education and banking. I've already informed that in healthcare region, they have increased the budgetary allocations this year, right? So they're also coming up with their own cloud infrastructure, which probably they will roll out shortly. So these are the initiatives that the government is taking. A woofing amount of $15 billion is being spent by Department of Electronics and Information Technology. So these are the initiatives government is taking. As far as startups are concerned, the startups and the MSME sector, they are the badly hit ones during the COVID-19 period. So therefore, they have come up with schemes like Startup India, Design Clinic, Make in India, and Atmanirbhar Bharat, which means self-sustained India. So they want more indigenously produced goods to be procured in the country. And they have also come up with bailout packages for MSMEs. And they have announced a large allocation for credits for the MSMEs. They have given loan moratoriums and tax holidays. They have also, India has been setting up incubation centers to encourage startups in the IT field. So there are so many initiatives that the government is taking, right? So I just want to spend a minute on Design Clinic. Design Clinic is a very interesting scheme. Startup companies, they cannot employ resources who are very expensive, and they need advisory services. So Design Clinic is a hub where it has got pool of experts in various technologies and various professions. So any startup who requires advice from them at a small payment, they can take the advice from these design clinics. Not only that, the design clinics will engage in continuous training and skill upgradation for MSMEs. So this is one wonderful initiative for MSMEs. So these are all the initiatives that are happening in India. So here are the points that we have discussed. We started off the conversation with a story, but we went on to understand the impact of COVID-19 on various industries, and what are the spend patterns, what is the outlook for different industries in the coming days. We have understood what are the e-governance initiatives and how far they have come up globally, challenges associated with digital transformation, and what is the leadership mindset that is required to manage disruptions. And there are few use cases that I've shared with you. And then there are also certain strategic frameworks that will help us undertake our digital transformation smoothly. Then we have also covered the initiatives by Government of India under the Digital India title. So, Zainur, I rest here. If there are any questions, we can go ahead.
Thank you very much, Siri, for the presentation. Thank you very much for sharing with all of us the data, the insights, your experience about this, and also best practices, case studies from India about DT. So I would like to thank the audience. We have viewers from the Philippines, we have videos from Malaysia, India, Taiwan, Korea, Fiji, who are with us today. May I start? Maybe I would like to get the questions from the audience to share with you. We have this question from our viewers from Philippines, Miss Nina Maria Estudeo. So she agreed with you about the MSMEs is the one that affected during this COVID-19. So yeah.
Your voice is cracking. Could you please repeat the question, please?
Okay. Now I read the questions for you. Can you read okay, what do you think are the top 3 challenges that these SMEs have encountered or still experiencing in terms of leadership for digital transformation? You're talking about the COVID-19. Can you see the questions?
Yes, so I got the question. Thank you, Nina, for posing this wonderful question. Your voice was breaking in between. The MSME sectors, I'll talk about the top 3 challenges that they're facing. The MSME sectors depend on the market demand. So the consumer behavior transformed in such a way that people have become very conservative and they're not ready to spend. So this is one major challenge that they're encountering. Second is due to the regulatory limitations, due to lockdowns and all, workforce was not available to handle the whatever meager demand that they have. So that is a second challenge. And third challenge is MSMEs are not equipped with the right technological innovations for them to handle such disruptions. So I would say these are the 3 challenges that they are facing.
Thank you very much, Siri, for your answer to that questions. We have another question from our viewer. This is from Malaysia, Mr. Mahlo. So he would like to know the challenges of the SMEs, again on the SMEs, especially for the senior employees. So how to, to convince them, to get the buy-in for them to use this new technology. Maybe you can give your insights, your ideas about this.
Fantastic. So the problem is with the digital dinosaurs these days. So people, they don't want to get onto the new way of thinking or new way of working, especially the older generation. But that is how they are conditioned. I cannot blame them. So recently, I think there is a team of delegates that APO sponsored from Ministry of Finance from Singapore, for which I acted as an advisor. They visited Hyderabad to see what are the different developments in the digital technology market. So I was having a conversation with one of the delegates. So they posed a similar question that the elder people are reluctant to get onto the digital platforms. How do we handle it? Well, you will have to start with automating your transactional systems first. You will have to start with the youngsters. So this is a very typical, kind of a change resistance that is happening in the organization. So when the transactional data is starts to get piled up for some time, and then there is a possibility of getting, in-depth insights into the market or what the business dynamics through dashboards and all. So these elderly people can be exposed to those dashboards so that they get motivated, and it becomes indispensable because they don't have data in paper format. It is all in digital format. So they will have to adopt to the new system. So this is one way of doing it, right? So the other way of doing is, let's talk about Philip Kotler, who talks about organization change management. You will have to take up this organization transformation, and you'll have to, it is an art as well as a science. So you'll have to create a sense of urgency among people, and involve them in decision making, especially the elders. If you recollect my story that I spoke about the king, I call him as the father of digital transformation. He was always consulting for decision making his old prime minister, and also he was keeping the army general in loop. So this is how you negotiate and deal with the situations, right? So there will be many more options, there are many more possibilities on how you can educate your teams to get onto the digital platforms, right? So I can think of these two right now.
Thank you very much, Siri. I think this is also a good opportunity, let's say, for the industry or technology provider also to think about the markets, which is the elderly, also need not to be segregated. There's something technology that they can also use it friendly for them to use this kind
Yeah.
of devices. Um, we have, I would like to have another, to share with you one more question from our viewer, Mr. David from South Korea. So he asked about can you elaborate on the importance of data management and data driven, especially for the leaders, for them to make a good decision. So this is kind of data maybe is useful. What is your thought about this?
Thank you, David. As I said, digital transformation is about being data driven, process oriented, and democratic in running your organization. So, without data and information, you cannot take any decisions. So, first, you need to have your systems that will get your transactional data in place and then plan the next layer, which are your data lakes, data warehouses, and then your dashboards. I always feel that CEOs who are taking decisions based on gut feeling, or they're taking decisions on the gossip that is happening in the grapevines, so they will not be able to take effective decisions. So you need systems to get all the data from bottom up, right? You can only take decisions based on the dashboards that are provided to you. So therefore, data management and data drivenness is the most important part of a digital culture.
Thank you very much, Siri. Now we goes to the another questions that I would like to have your ideas and also your opinions. So we're talking about the implementations of this digital transformation in the organizations. So how the leaders can measure the success of this DT in his or her organizations. So what is your
Fan-
thought on this?
Fantastic. Any initiative that you take, be it a business process optimization or implementing an IT project, you need to have a quantifiable problem statement, right? People say that, let us say in a bank, people say that the delay in providing service to the customers is very long. So that is not the right way of having a problem statement. You should say that each customer on an average is taking about 5 minutes to get a survey, then I want to reduce it to 2 minutes. So you have got quantified problem statement and also measurable objectives. So these are the two things that you need to have. And then always you need to take a feedback from time to time to see your digital transformation initiatives, how far they were able to meet your expectations and objectives. In fact, you will have to look at multiple dimensions in assessing your digital transformation maturity or success levels. See, these certain measurements are quantifiable, certain measurements are related to quality. Quality is an issue of perspective. So the quality issues you can get only through the feedback on quality aspects, you can get only through certain surveys that you conduct, right? You have to conduct convert the findings of the surveys with some weighted average formula and then into numbers, right? So you have to assess on things like the customer management, what is the experience you are providing, how he is feeling. Then see at your strategy level, what are your strategies, how are you able to manage your portfolio, how are you managing your investors, how are you managing your funds, is there any improvement from time to time, is there any progress. Then look at technology, how matured is your technology, are they fully integrated, do you have connected devices, are all business processes automated, right? You look at your operations. So these are the different areas that you look into and have measurable objectives, and time to time assess where you have reached. That is the reason you need a focused digital transformation team to take care of all these things.
Thank you very much, Siri, for your answer. Okay, maybe this is the last question from our side. We'd like to know because you mentioned about in the presentation one of the factor for organization to go to digital because of the current pandemic. So, what will happen if there's another pandemics coming in the future? So, what other DT that you expect to see? Is there any
Wow,
time?
I really wish that it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
It's a scary question, but I have a sweet answer for that. If you have seen, wars have happened, the Great Depression has happened, recession has happened, so many things have happened in the world, but the global economies were able to bounce back, right? So if you see, compare between the happenings of the Spanish flu that happened maybe 100 years back and the COVID-19, we are very much equipped to tackle the situation now. There have been various dashboards across the country. There are a number of websites that I can name off. So there is a visibility on the trends of how the disease is progressing. And they are bringing about the right statutory alignments to see that how economies can be managed effectively. There will be some collateral damages, of course. And also, governments have come out with interesting schemes to ensure that the economy is brought back on the rails. So I would say that it won't be a surprise for people who are in risk management that if another major global event happens, right? But this is the job of risk management. They're always anticipating such kind of things to happen.
Okay. Thank you very much, Siri, and also all the audience. Other than our member countries who are joining today, I mean the viewers from our member countries, we also noted our viewer from Mauritius to be with us today. Thank you very much for joining the session with Siri today. So before we close our session, maybe I would like to have your 1 minute advice to the leaders out there in the organizations. What actually they what is your advice for them that this is the things that you need to embrace because the digital transformations, this is the things that need to be for embrace for you to survive, for you to continue your business. Please, Siri.
We heard this cliche, data is oil, right? So I would say that a true leader, going back to the story, he is a person who depends on information and innovation, and then he is a person who inspires people in his organization. He is a person who has the inclination to transform the ecosystem, not only within the organization but also to the society to which he is providing his services. So he should look at a value generation or value creation model in a larger context, not just focus on temporary profits, increasing their efficiencies, right? So the very presence of his business in the market is to serve the society, to serve the mankind. So this is the kind of the mindset they need to have, and also the right expertise to have correct assessment and correct knowledge about the emerging technologies and use them judiciously. But nevertheless, he should not forget that he has to empower teams and make them future leaders, right? This is my advice that I can give.
Thank you very much, Siri, talking about the correct assessment, correct measurement, and also the empowerment for the leaders to make sure the successful implementation of DT in the organizations. So once again, we're already out of time. So thank you very much, Siri, for your time today with us, presenting your insights and also give your opinions, your answer to the question from viewers out there. So we're really grateful to have you today, Siri. Thank you very much. And for viewers out there, please, if you have any other questions, you can continue to post your questions in the live chat, also in the comments under the video in this YouTube. So APO will continue this kind of program, APO Productivity Talk, this year. So we will feature more experts, renowned leaders from the academic, from the private sector, from the government, to discuss and talk about the new challenges in 2021, as well as we also want to see how is the opportunities, the new opportunities, the new prospect for us in this challenging year for us to share with all this audience in our member countries. So thank you very much once again, Siri. So until then, I wish everyone's out there to be in the very best of health. And during this tough season, thank you very much. Please take good care of yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you, Siri.